Alright, come on, Funtime.
Freddy, you seem a little angry. Are we like... Am I in trouble?
You're not the one in trouble, buddy.
Well, then who's in trouble?
Your mama is.
What? Why is Mama in trouble? Mama would never do anything bad. Mama's a perfect angel.
You can come out now. I know you're already here watching us.
What? Freddy, that is very rude. I'm not liking this tone of voice you have about Mama Funtime. Mama!
I was just making a third cup of coffee.
Hi, Mama.
Fun time?
Freddy's a little grumpy today.
Yes.
What's the purpose of this visit? I could have sworn you didn't want to do nothing with me, and the repairs seem to be in order.
I'm in order.
I found the house.
House?
The one that's outside of town.
How's outside of town?
Oh! Oh, the one that... Oh! We're talking about the one with all the... It's old and spooky and had like stuff inside where people apparently were living in. Freddy says that's where my siblings were. But that can't be true because they ran away.
The one with the orange roof and house on it. You said...
There was more than one?
Well, you said a house at the edge of the street, so...
End of the outside of town.
Oh. Apologies, I haven't gotten any rest recently.
But it's the house that's, you know, big and kind of old. I wrote it in my diary.
I forgot you still had that, and I'm assuming... Okay. Now I know what house you're talking about.
Yes. The one there. And, let's not forget, the house looked like it was recently lived in up until a certain point.
Let me guess, it looked ransacked, it looks like it's been abandoned on post-haste. Almost as if people were fleeing, correct?
Yes, and looked like they were renovating the house too, like they started with the basement, but never finished.
Oh, how did you know that, Mama?
Because the house was used. Oh, quite some time. For multiple purposes, but the main ones was to house the experiments I had.
How's the experiments? They were trying to live away from you.
Can you confirm this?
They looked like they were stocking up. It looked like they were trying to barricade something out of their room.
And can you confirm this with data? Do you have all the files, the videos, the audio logs? Can you confirm this with the paperwork that this is in fact me?
You can't get out of this, okay? I know what I saw in that house. The house was...
Are you building an assumption based on pre-connotation of me?
Based on facts that and evidence I found there. The kid's room there was barricaded. Like they were trying to keep something out of the room. What did you do?
To me, it sounds like you really have no idea what I'm about, and have yet to piece anything together at all. All you have is a broken down house, barricaded rooms, and something being, quote-unquote, kept out, when in fact they were trying to be kept in. The house, if you want to know the truth, might as well. I'm not afraid to talk about it. The house, yes, it housed every experiment. Well, not every, but majority of it. It was a refugee place, where all the experiments that wanted to, well, flee could, while others I had to put there. They weren't kept to hide from me. I put them there. They're the ones that, if they got out to the public, what would that do? What would that say? Their experiments. My children. And not once did I think any less of them nothing more than the potential they could have housed. I kept them there because I was afraid of the harm they could have done to the public. Some of them had haywire tendencies, out of control.
They were failed experiments to you.
They weren't failed experiments. They were just incomplete. I thought I could fix all of them and repair the issues that they had. If Funtime Freddy came out the way that they did, why couldn't these guys?
Hey, I'm confused. Did they not run away?
Some did. The ones that ran away were the ones that didn't house any potential problems but can remain an issue. I still keep an eye on them. The others...
What about the junkyard, Freddy? What about the junkyard?
If I buried every children that unfortunately could no longer function, then it would seem as if I'm a mass murderer.
So you put them on a train to leave?
Oh, Funtime Freddy. If only you had your brains back.
You said that your mind wall thing was working. It isn't.
I'm not liking this. Mama, I'm not liking what I'm hearing right now. It's kind of scaring me.
Tell me.
Are you a monster?
The ones who were...
No.
Deteriorating. Were they in pain?
I try to make sure that they weren't. Every one of my experiments are my children. That I can assure you. And not one did I think of any less than the other. I refer to them as my experiments because that's what they are. But in reality, they're more than that. You must understand. When it comes in terms of family, I have very little. And the little that I have are them. Every experiment, failure or not, unfunctional or fully functional, are my family. And I treated each one with respect, in hopes that maybe they can potentially do good. But unfortunately, that's not how the world works. That's not how experiments work. With each experiment comes a new error and a ticking time bomb that will allow them to blow up.
Meaning each time you failed,
I had to put them in the one place that no one would go looking and would assume were naturally there.
So, the siblings that Funtime grew up with, what happened to them?
Very little did make it out. And I'm keeping an eye on them.
So, there's some out there then right now that are living their lives?
Yes, but there are others that did not.
How are you?
And let me guess, that's why you're taking all the data from Funtime right now,
Yes.
to try to find a way to help them.
Taking my data?
Funtime Freddy is an anomaly. Out of all the experiments, they were the only one that came out as conclusive as they did. A mystery that even I can't unravel, but it's a mystery that I must solve in order to save the others.
It's the magic.
Magic! I know magic! Are we doing magic?
You call it magic, I call it science.
Magic is just another form of science that has no true explanations. When you created the life, the magic attempted to create them as bioorganic.
That did not uphold.
When Funtime Freddy was born, his experiment, how much alive did you try to make him compared to the others?
That's the thing. He was the only data I did not write down fully. And an act of desperation, and an act of me trying to find any way
to make it successful.
I didn't foresee how it happened. Everything with Funtime Freddy was unplanned.
And that's how life is. A mind forming cannot have influence.
Indeed. But their code that they have could help me. It's why
The code, the reason, the why the magic didn't take fold, is because it's confused. It doesn't. If your machines don't think they're alive, then they aren't. But if they're not, but if they're incomplete like that, then they're just going to degrade. Funtime Freddy was lucky. You must have saw yourself as fully organic in order to have survived.
I see myself as a big, fun teddy bear.
You had to spark a life in you.
There's a spark inside of me?
you were different in every way, shape, and form. The only influence I had was building your body. The others, I tried. I tried to give you and me a proper family.
So,
That did not exactly go through.
okay. I may not be smart, okay? But I do know when something bad is done. And you did a bad thing, Mama. You should have told me all of this. You should have told us
And
what
how
you
would
were
you
doing.
react?
Lying is bad.
I never lied to you. I did say the truth. Some of your siblings did run away. But there were times where it was hard to tell you the truth. I mean,
I did
how
tell
could...
the truth.
How am I supposed to say that your siblings and not make it through? How am I supposed to look you in the eye and still conclude that these experiments became that? Unconclusive. How was I supposed to look at the one creation that made it through and tell them that the person that they are currently living with has to leave, or else they and I will cease to exist?
Oh.
They were a risk, and I took every single one. You may call me a monster, but I had the good intention behind each and every one of them. And not one, to me, seemed less of my children. I will give you any name, each number they had, everything I've done, before and after Funtime Freddy, and I can still tell you with my chest that I loved them.
Then why lie?
Because how am I, a mother, supposed to look at their children and tell them that they were a mistake when they weren't? All they did was exist, and to me that is fine. I just wanted to give them more. I wanted to give each of them the world and the knowledge that came with it, but unfortunately, I am what I am, human.
And humans make mistakes, Freddy. You know what, Mama? You always taught me to forgive people when they say they've done something bad. So, as much as this has made me very sad and angry at the same time, I forgive you.
I don't blame you for your anger and your emotions, any less that I'm aware of my own sadness and fear.
I can't fully forgive. There are times when you try to do things on your own, but there are times when there are others who could have helped you.
Oh no, there's never been others. Like I said before.
You tried to reach out to others before.
And look where that ended up. I told you. My family are the experiments you claim. I, quote unquote, were that experiments. There was a time where I did reach out. Yes, that's true. But look where that ended up.
You isolating yourself even more. Funtime will always be an exception. I know that. But the others... Funtime deserves to know his family. I think you should tell him where they are.
I was afraid this would happen. But I can assure you one thing. Funtime does know the locations. It's just...
I do?
needs a little adjusting.
Smart Funtime.
Smart Funtime.
I knew you weren't just all talk there.
At least you're not as mean as William.
William? Sorry. William, don't compare me with that amateur.
Oh, jeez.
Oh. I did not expect that.
Never refer to me and to that whatever he is aligned.
I mean, he's also created animatronics that became alive.
True, but he can never value them. An inventor who does not value their own creation is no less than some kid playing pretend. And that's how I see it. In the realm of science, you must be passionate for your research. I view as William is not. Therefore, William and I are more or less compatible than fire and water.
Well done.
Okay.
I didn't realize there was beef between you and Mr. William.
Neither did I, but that's good to know, I guess.
His research became public and well known, mine became private, and my own little...
Well, I'm pretty sure his wasn't originally intended to be well known.
amateur.
She just called William an amateur.
Well, I'm sure if he ever heard that, he'd probably have words, but
But I'll prepare Funtime Freddy.
there's also something else, too, that I wanted to know. When were you going to tell me about the cameras you installed in my house?
There's cameras in our house?
Yeah.
I already responded to that question, don't you remember? I kept an eye on those that were successful. In fear of taking time.
That doesn't mean you can install cameras in my house. Spy on my life. My wife and my child is there.
You are not the intended person. But I also wanted to make sure that
I don't
my
care.
Funtime Freddy was in good hands.
I don't
And
I don't care if we were not the intended target. You have footage of me, my wife, and my child. You can talk to Freddy. You can call him. You can check in on him. But the footage gets deleted. Is that understood?
what, do you think I archive every moment you had with your kid? What do you take me as? It's any more than having a baby cam for, well, a baby. That was me with Funtime Freddy.
I'm not a baby, I'm a big boy.
Yes, you are, buddy. Yes, you are.
If it reassures you in any way, I just wanted to make sure that he was at the most care. And once I found out that you were overlooking him and saw that you had good intentions, all I did was check on him, not you and your family.
Wait.
That is your private life no more than mine's.
Is that how you knew about us going to the house? And that's why you cleared it out of all the siblings?
Mm-hmm.
How long did they last before they deteriorated? Because it looked like they were in the middle of something, and then they just stopped.
Each one has its own time limit. Again, ticking time bomb. It's what I was afraid for Funtime Freddy for the longest time and still am. Especially with you having a kid.
They went insane, didn't they? That's why...
Some
oh god.
did.
Oh god, that's why they barricaded themselves in that room. They weren't barricading against you, they were... The young
Protecting
ones were
me. They were all protecting one another. If any of them went to the public, they would have gone rampant and caused more issues than even I can, well, synthesize.
And what about the young ones that were in that house then? What happened to them? Did they?
Some of them did make it out, and are with the successful, while others unfortunately did not even make it past a day or so. Each experiment has its own time limit. Each one can either blow up, fall down, become unfunctional within a matter of an hour, or be fully functional up until a month before something happens. Their emotions get ticked off. I miscalculated a certain gear and just those little hairline details. That house, like I said, you've had the intentions of seeing me as a monster when I can assure you I am not. There's footage and audio logs if you would like to hear and see. But I believe me when I tell you do not.
Look, I didn't come here with the intention of saying you're a monster. From one parent to another, I felt disgusted, thinking that you were getting rid of them as if they were trash. Especially when I went to a junkyard. A junkyard! Full of the parts and remains of your children.
It was never a junkyard to me.
It was a graveyard.
Well, if that's all you wanted to talk about, and if that answers all of your questions...
This is making me hungry. I'm gonna go get some pancakes.
I can help you. There's one aspect of this you're not grasping. The magic aspect. One of the reasons why the experiments might be failing is because of the magical aspect. It might not even be the mechanical side. Maybe I can give you my research notes I have on magic itself. Maybe that can help you figure out a cure for them so they can actually live like him.
Well, if you're being so generous after the accusation...
Well, if you were a little more forward with us, maybe I wouldn't have been accusational like that.
Now, where's the fun in that?
Ma'am, for the last day, I thought you were an unbridled monster, and I was fully ready to put you 12 feet under.
You wouldn't be the first. Experiment X3.
I would have been the last.
Do you really think Funtime Freddy would have let you?
To be fair, I could have thrown a rubber ball outside and he probably would have chased it.
Mom! What are you syrup?
Isn't that the 2-year-old syrup you didn't replace? I'm gonna have to pump his stomach later.